Okay, first thing in the morning, so I don't forget to do it again today, 5-minute Nomadsculpt intro. Let's switch over. Alright, so when you first start Nomadsculpt, you see something kind of like this. That thing in the center is our digital clay, if you will, our active object. You can have more than one of those, we'll get to that in a second. So you've got 4 toolbars kind of going on over here. You've got one on the left, which you can see is kind of separated into 2, one on the top, again, kind of separated into 2, one on the right over here. These are your tools. We're going to start here, and then one on the bottom. We'll come back to that some maybe in this video, maybe not. So the tools are honestly pretty self-explanatory by the name and when you start trying to use them. There might be one or two that are tricky, but the one that starts is clay. You're selected with clay. And this orange circle in the bottom right, that's my cursor. It turns red when I'm touching it. And I've got symmetry on right now. You can see if you look at the left, this left toolbar, it's got an autosave. I'm going to go ahead and autosave as my project. So this left toolbar adjusts a few things on the top. The top one, it's kind of like Procreate. Top one is the radius of your brush. So now I've got a bigger brush by moving that up. And if I move it down, then I have a smaller brush. Like I said, symmetry, if you look below these 2 sliders, there's this little triangle I'm turning on and off. That's my symmetry. If I turn it off, then no more symmetry. So that'll bring us to the top toolbar on the right. That is the top toolbar on the right here. This is settings for whatever the tool from the right hand. This, you got brush, flatten, clay, whatever. These are options for that. So we could go into symmetry and see if right up here I've got enabled. That's making that little triangle on the left hand bar flip back and forth. I can change the plane of symmetry. See, now it goes up and down because I did it along the yellow or the green plane, which I think was Y. Okay, so next thing is the upper left hand. You've got, this is like file, lets you import, export, save stuff. This is and it says add to scene. There's 2 add to scenes. Those let you import objects from other files. If you go to this thing that looks like a graph, this is your object collection, and it works a little bit like layers in Photoshop if you're familiar with that. So down here you've got primitive. That lets you add new items, and then you get this wacky looking colored thing. This just lets you move it around if you play with those different colors. You've got like the green arrow moves you up and red arrow moves you to the side. When you first get it, you've also got these little dots that let you adjust the size in particular directions. And you'll see at the top middle, there's this thing that says edit, mirror, validate. You can't start sculpting. It loads in the primitive and then lets you like adjust it. And then you have to hit validate before you start sculpting. And then you can go in and start changing stuff. So back to the top here. So you can see I've got the sphere selected now, box selected. Kind of like I was saying, layers, except instead of layers, you're dealing with objects. You use the eyeball to turn them on and off, kind of like in Photoshop. You can duplicate them, etc. You can rename them and stuff. Another thing you can select more than one at a time. I'm going to get rid of the box. And then do this thing called voxel merge. And voxels are neat. What voxels are, is it's kind of like they draw a grid through 3D, a 3D grid through 3D space, and then it just sort of it overlays and recalculates where all the little triangles are supposed to be. That's a really short intro, but I'm losing time here. And in voxel merge now that lets me treat them as one object. Okay, and then I'm gonna go a little bit over. I think the last thing I really want to show you is if you can kind of see I'm getting some weird, I'm pushing the shapes pretty hard, and this is starting to look a little ugly in here. So this will help illustrate what voxels are. It's like a voxel is like a pixel, but pixel is for picture, which is 2D. Voxel is like volume pixel, right? So it's for 3D, for volume. And you can see I've got these. I can't do any detail work on these anymore. Look at that. It looks terrible because I've really stretched out my thing too much. Oh, and down that lower bottom right hand corner, you've got the redo, undo. Just that keep that in mind. You can also do the 2-finger touch and 3-finger touch like you do in Procreate. Anyway, so back up here, I can go to voxel, and I can turn the resolution up, and you can see what I mean. Like it's got that grid, and that grid kind of seems to it's like a 3D box grid, and then it's going to, as I turn it up, it increases the resolution, and there's more squares as it calculates. These represent little cubes, and then I can hit remesh. And now it lets me, kind of paint / sculpt over here to my heart's content, and I've got my ability to do detail back. And and then you just kind of play with the different tools. Treat it like it's digital clay, and just have some fun with it. And you'll be sculpting in no time. It's easier than watercolor, and that's all there is.